All right, we're on lesson 25, which is on word problems. So the first thing we're going to do is take a little reminder and remind ourselves what surface area and volume are. So surface area has to do with the area of all of the surfaces. So that's from when we are finding the area of every side and then adding everything together. That's always in square units. Our volume is the total space inside of our three-dimensional shape. So the example I used is if I take a rectangular prism and I fill it with water, the amount of water that fills up that prism would be the volume. So it's all the space inside it, and that would be in units cubed or to the third power. Let's go ahead and look at our first example. It says, Daniel is painting a rectangular box for his grandmother. How much paint will he need to completely cover the box? All right, so the first thing we have to figure out is whether this question is asking us to find surface area or volume. Well, it says, let's look back to what it is asking me to find. So it says, how much paint will he need to cover the box? Well, if I am covering something, that's the outside. So that must have to do with surface area. So we are finding the surface area of this problem. So we're going to go ahead and set up our problem. We're going to find the area of the front and back. The left and right. Because this is a rectangular prism. And then the top and bottom. Area for a rectangle is length times width. So I'm going to plug that in. So for the front, I have 7 by 3. So I'm going to multiply that. 21, and there are 2 of those rectangles, so multiply by 2 to get 42. The left and the right, those dimensions, 5 by 3. And then again, there are 2 of them, so I'm going to multiply by 2. And the top and bottom are going to give us 7 by 5. So 7 times 5. 7 times 5, 35. And again, multiplying by 2. Now my last step for the total surface area is to add everything together. So 42 plus 30 plus 70. All right. In total, when you add those up in your calculator, you should get 142 centimeters squared. So that's how much paint he would need. Enough paint to cover 142 centimeters squared of space. Let's look at example 2. It says Remy is filling his fish tank with water. How much water will he need to fill the fish tank? Well, this is the example that I used not too long ago. So remember, we're filling his tank. So fill the fish tank. Well, if we're filling something up, that's the inside of my shape. So that's going to have to do with volume. So volume, remember our general prism formula is V equals capital B times H, where capital B represents the area of the base. So we learned 2 different methods. You can either plug in the area formula for your base into the formula, or you can solve it off to the side. So base area equals length times width, or you can do length times width times your height of your 3D shape. So no matter which way you do that is fine, whatever's easier for you. We're doing the length and width of the base. So for me, I'm going to say that the base is right here, right? So 2.5 by 1.8. Then we multiply by our height, which is 1.1. I'm going to multiply all 3 of those numbers together. 4.95 meters cubed. Okay, let's head on to the next page. So the way I'm going to do these three problems is I'm going to have you go ahead and try one on your own, and then you can unpause it and check that one, and then pause it again, do the next one, and check it. So I'm going to read the first one. It says, Carla is wrapping the present in the shape shown below. Determine how much wrapping paper will be needed to wrap the present. All right, so go ahead and pause the video. Try this one on your own. When you're all set, unpause and check. All right, we're wrapping the present, which means that this has to do with the outside. So this is surface area. So I need the surface area of our bases. So in this picture, it's the top and bottom. But again, it doesn't matter how you set it up as long as you have all three of the things that I'm going to show you. Whoops. And the front. So if you take a look at our top and bottom, we have two triangles, so 1/2 base times height. And I'm going to multiply that by 2 because there are 2 of them. So 1/2, 8, and then remember it has to be vertical height, so that would be this 3 feet over here. 1/2 and 2 are going to cancel, but again, you can put that all in your calculator and it'll give you the same thing. 8 times 3, 24. And then if I take a look at this triangle, this is a special kind of triangle. This is an isosceles triangle. So that's telling me that the left and right sides of my picture are going to be exactly the same. So both of these rectangles are 5 by 7 feet. So I only have to calculate them once. So area equals length times width, 5 times 7, and times 2. Now if you do them separately, that is not wrong at all. You should end up with the same answer in the end as long as you have done it correctly. All right, my last rectangle is on the front, so length times width. There's only one of these, and that is 8 times 7. So 8 times 7 is 56, and I'm going to add everything up together. So the total surface area, 24 plus 70 plus 56. 150 feet squared. All right, number 2. It says Nate is creating a foam sculpture. His drawing with the dimensions is below. How much foam is needed to create the shape? All right, so if I'm creating a shape out of foam, the foam is the shape itself. So that would be the inside. So this is going to be volume. Remember, for a pyramid, volume formula, V equals 1/3 capital B times our height, so equals 1/3 area of the base times the height. Our base is a rectangle, so area equals length times width. So I can either do length times width and just plug everything right into there, or I can calculate that base on my own separately and then plug it in. So 17.5 times 32. Remember, your height has to be the height of your three-dimensional shape. It is 24 feet tall. So I'm going to multiply those three numbers together. 13,440. And then times 1/3 or dividing by 3, 4,480 feet cubed. All right, next problem. Jonah wants to know which bin would be able to fit more craft supplies. Determine if Jonah should pick bin A or bin B. All right, go ahead, pause the video and try this one on your own. When you're all set, please unpause and check. Okay, so this is talking about fitting craft supplies inside of it. So that's volume, and remember volume equals capital B times H. We have bin A, bin B, and we're comparing their volumes. So volume of our rectangular prism, we've got length times width times height. because area of the base would be length times width. So I'm going to have 4 times 5 times the height of my shape, 7. I can multiply that all together, 140 inches cubed. And my bin B, length times width, 12 times 5 times 3. That one's going to give you 180 inches cubed. So Jonah would be better off with bin B. So let's just make sure we answer the full question. Jonah should pick bin B. There is more space in bin B. Okay, that's all for this lesson. Good luck on your homework.